Welcome to Good Sir Strategies, where making enjoyable, theme-based, and balanced builds is the priority. We will bring each unique build into the forefront by focusing on its skills, nodes, gear, and playstyle. Are you looking for access into the empowered Monolith? Then this build will have you covered. The goal is to always create builds that can tackle the endgame, which is 100+ corruption. Today I will be showcasing the Vampiric Overlord Warlock. The build is currently at level 95 and is sitting at 100 Monolith corruption. With this build I wanted to pay homage to the silver screen portrayal of Count Dracula by using Bleed Overload with Bone Golems. I also wanted to incorporate the character of Simon Belmont and his Flame Whip via the Ignite Overload. In this video, we'll be looking at the how to play summary, gameplay footage, skill explanation, viewing of passives, going up against some empowered bosses, and the test dummy stats. If you are interested in a certain part of the video, for ease of access, everything is timestamped in the description below. The level 100 full build guide is listed in the description and is also linked as a pinned comment underneath. Now let's explore this build. Spawn your 2 Summon Bone Golems before entering an Echo. Before attacking an enemy, cast an Infernal Shade on them for added damage over time. Depending on the enemy, you can attack with your golems up close, or you can attack the enemies from afar while your golems attack close up. Your only attack will be Chaos Bolts. Not only does Chaos Bolts attack, but it also buffs your golems. Harvest and Rip Blood skills are automated through Chaos Bolts. Dodge attacks with Chthonic Fissure, Profane Veil, or Evade. Chthonic Fissure is your movement skill and will assist with health regen while also strengthening your attacks. Chaos Bolts is the main attack for this build. Since this is a Bleed Ignite damage over time build, Chaos Bolts will be converted into a physical attack with Sanguine Reverie, which means the 2 points in Condemned to Chaos is converted into bleed damage. Exalt in Misery will cause your bolts to deal 12% more damage to enemies with the bleed or ignite ailments. The Gate gives your minions the same amount of bleed chance that you deal. Pandemonium allows Chaos Bolts to hit in a wider area, but the bolts are still sporadic in nature. To hone in the bolts into a more focused attack, put 2 points into Destructive Intensity. By adding Bone Curse through the node Another Affliction, Chaos Bolts has the ability to curse once your minions apply a mark for death upon the enemy. With each different curse, the player gains more damage over time from Spiteful Decay, more armor from Harrowing Armor, less damage taken from Dark Protections, added mana from Soul Stealer, and double damage from Chaotic Strikes. To keep these curses continually active when attacking, spec into Cursed Blood. When attacking a cursed enemy, your mana will increase with Devour the Damned. Needless to say, mana shouldn't be an issue with this build. Putting 2 points into Exacted Libation and 1 point into Reaper of Mayhem will unlock the automatic use of Rip Blood and Harvest through Chaos Bolts. To extend the duration of Chthonic Fissure and Infernal Shade, spec into the Burn. Just so that you aren't too thirsty for mana, put 3 points into Thirst. This will make Rip Blood cost 0 mana. For the blood orbs to return faster to you and heal you at a higher rate, max out Quenching. To restore even further health from your orbs, place 1 point into Hematology. Marrow Drinker makes it so that you only drain health from your minions. But with the help of Cauldron of Blood and Crimson Favors, you are still allowed to also siphon the enemy's health at the same time. There are 3 nodes inside Rip Blood that buff your minions. Blood Infusion gives your minions 15% more damage. Infuse Frenzy speeds up their attack. And Hemophagy causes your minions to leech health from the enemy. However, this can only be achieved by speccing 5 points into Splatter. The Harvest skill is used mostly for regenerating your mana and to buff your minions. To make this skill beneficial, it first needs a further range of attack, so spec into Great Scythe. Considering all the curses in this build, it would be foolish not to add Symbol of Loss, which deals more damage to cursed enemies. In order to buff your minions with Ward, we first must buff yourself with Mind Harvest and Mirror Soul. These two effects will transfer this ward to your minions via Ghost Conduit. To increase your minions' ward further, spec into Undead Veins. Spirit Shards assist with gaining back mana while also increasing the attack of both you and your minions. If you feel you are not gaining enough health, you could swap out Symbol of Loss and 1 point of Undead Veins to obtain Life Eater, but this will cut down your attack damage significantly. While equipping Aaron's Will, you are able to summon 2 full-size golems. Since this is a Bleed Ignite build, these Summon Bone Golems need to become a Pyre Golem. Once these golems have a base fire attack of Charred Bones, they will greatly benefit from the passive node Chaos Flames. Your Summon Bone Golems act as bodyguards, and will need armor and health from Amalgam of Sentinels in order to be a strong defense. Also, in order to protect you, their size and threat level need to be higher than yours, so spec into Tower of Bones. The healing gain from Hunger, Bone Growth, and the leech from Rip Blood's Hemophage make these golems virtually indestructible. In the instance that your golems are eliminated, a Super Soldier Golem can be summoned for 15 seconds with the Fragments of the Fallen before reverting back to a normal-sized golem. Amalgam of Mages offers a good chance to stun the enemy, which in turn causes less of a chance of you being attacked. In the case you are attacked, the Hunger from Summon Bone Golem will also heal you. To increase the amount you are healed from Hunger, the Golem's attack must be sped up with Amalgam of Rogues. Mana cost is everything, so let's bring down Chthonic Fissure's mana cost with the node Fragile Crust. Additional mana will be refunded due to your minion's casting of Mark of Death on the enemy. Chthonic Fissure is changed drastically while equipping Spine of Malatros. When using this two-handed sword, all spirits from Chthonic Fissure are converted to Flame Whips. Sadly, the Torment Curse doesn't transfer over with the Flame Whips. To maximize Flame Whip output, spec into Stygian Current and Spirit Gale. With the loss of Torment, this skill needs another curse, so add the node Forbidden Chasm, which grants Acid Skin. To make this skill a movement skill, invest a point into Chthonic Passage. Leeching health from the enemy is a requirement, and Grasp of the Undying grants that wish. However, leeching in this manner is not enough. The passive skill Cauldron of Blood needs to proc consistently for a leech to be effective, and can only happen when using a physical skill. That is the reason why Chthonic Fissure is converted into a physical skill from the node Blood Gulch. Finally, to make Chthonic Fissure a threat to bosses, spec into Eradication. Infernal Shade is not a spec skill and is only placed on the hotbar. This build's main focus is damage over time. Infernal Shade adds to the pool of damage over time, thus ramping up the damage output. This skill expires every 5 seconds, but its duration is extended through the use of Chaos Bolts. When the Burning Shade icon above the enemy's head vanishes, add another Infernal Shade to that enemy. Profane Veil is not a spec skill and is only placed on the hotbar. The purpose of Profane Veil is to dodge enemy attacks. Depending on the enemy, dodging is essential. If both Evade and Chthonic Fissure are on cooldown, then this gives the player another option to bypass enemy attacks. What is Profane Veil best used for? It protects from widespread or long duration boss attacks. You will be on the hunt for nodes that boost your damage over time, increase leech, strengthen your minions, and bolster your offenses and defenses via curses. If you want a challenge, then this build's playstyle will offer you just that. Avoiding attacks using Evade is a must for this build. You must constantly regulate your threat level and make sure that it doesn't exceed the threat level of your Summon Bone Golems. When enemies start attacking you rather than your golems, You can bring down your threat level by masking yourself within a profane veil while moving away from combat. Another factor to consider is some bosses will knock out your golems quickly. With great mana regen from spirit shards, you can summon another golem and empower it with fragments of the fallen, so an initial detriment becomes a future success in disguise. Comment, like, share, and subscribe if you appreciate these builds. And as always, enjoy the build, enjoy the experience. Wherever you take it from here is up to you.